Hello, this is Juanjo Novella. I am an artist working almost specifically and focused in the public art. And firstly, I want to be grateful with all of you for inviting me and to have this opportunity to explain my vision, how I understand the public realm, which really is my passion. I love my work, and this is all my life working in this field. Okay. The question we have, or the question you asked me to explain is if the public art brings wealth. It is a difficult question. It is a difficult question with a very easy answer. Of course, it brings. But what kind of question could be, if you wonder, brings wealth to bread, or will brings wealth to have a good diet? Of course. Art comes with us from the beginning of the times, and we can't live without art. It doesn't matter if it brings wealth, it brings profits, or not. Always we need to live with art, because otherwise this is not a worthy life, you know? In the beginning, when appeared our species, we create our culture. Our culture comes because some specific characteristic of the human, such as the sense about our death, the sense ourselves. Also, a kind of spiritual feeling, you know, and the need we had to sensitize, to create symbolic places. Look, in the first times we create such a, is that public art? I think so. This is public art. The art in the beginning was a public art. Our culture comes together with the need to sensitize our space. Why that kind of monkeys, such a human beings, such a Homo sapiens, spend so many time making a thing without a value, without a real value? Because what for to create art? Why that people who have a lot of problems to survive spend so many time creating art, be creatives, you know? Is because the art defines us as a species, you know? It's the difference we have with other organisms, with other animals, you know? We create, we are creative, we have a sense of symbolics, we are artists. All of you are artists, believe or not. Well, and the question is if the arts carries profits, you know. Well, the question could be, what happens if we had cities without art? What kind of cities, what kind of space could be there, could be those? I'm sorry. They would be just storage for human. They would be just places to put humans, you know, but humans without human sense. Of course, the art modifies our sense of our space, and we need our space. This public space is a kind of belonging. We recognize in the space. Look, by the way, this is a piece of me here in Hsinchu, in the Tsinghua University. I love this piece. It was a leaf collected in the floor and then put in bigger, you know. And those are students of the university. This is the way I understand to use the art in the nature, you know. Link it to the human being, link it to the history, and link it to the space. Look, people, oh, thank you. People loves to approach my pieces, you know, and I love that they do, you know. Okay, so human identity goes together with the arts. And if human identity goes together with the arts, the question is not if the public art brings wellness. What will happen if not, you know? This is what we can see in that kind of cities where there is not public art, where there is not a good architecture, where there is not a good planning. We can see disease, we can see criminal acts, we can see poverty, we can see sadness, you know, and we don't know, we don't want this kind of cities. What we want is happy places, you know, places where worthy places, you know. I'm sorry, my English is just what is, you know. I am making my best and a big effort speaking English, which is not my original language, and probably I would say better in Spanish, but I trust you understand me. Okay, so what we visit in any city, we remember what we watch there. We remember, for example, if we visit Paris, we remember Eiffel Tower, and we remember iconic places. This is what public art gave us. The public art gave us iconic places, places in which we are able to recognize. There are places where we are proud to belong them. You know, this is my piece in Phoenix, in USA. This is a new development, and here, this is a new building. And the piece is talking with the history, such like the river Salado, and the new building. And this is a tower of flowing, it's a stream of water, you know, talking with the nature, with the landscape, and with the human values. So, the city is the extension of our body. You know, your body is your body, and there you have a suite. You put your jacket, you wear your clothes. But beyond that, we have another clothes, another space. It is the city. The city is part of our body. It's a collective body. And we must to be aware about that, because it's our creation. I like to say that the human being is an animal who builds cities. City is our only creation, because the city is our culture, you know. This is a piece of me, by me in Madrid. I like to think in the public art like a place, rather than a mere piece of art. I think the public art should be a place, because should be like a protective device, you know, like a place where you can approach, you can live in, you can see through, you know. This way is closest to the human. Well, cities saves our scenario. We, as a human being, we have a strong need of our scenario. It's a kind of feeling beyond of rational thinking. It's hard to explain, but all of you belong to a specific place. Even if you travel anywhere, you have your own roots, your own scenario, and goes with you. And when you live in other place, also you start belonging to a new scenario, because we need our place. We are not, it's our substrate, it's our ground. We identify ourselves in the cities. A city without public art is just like a square and corners feel of things, you know. But not always the public art should be fine arts. Also a good architecture, also a good master plans, urban. We need our public space, and we need our meeting points, and we need to be comfortable near of our creation, you know. Absolutely. We can imagine our lives without art. I cannot imagine. I can imagine a life without art. I can imagine a life with pains, with depression, sad, you know. So the city is like a organism, is like a extension of our body. It has its own behavior. For example, we have a space for leisure, we have administrative places, we have deportives, places, you know. Those different use of the and levels of the city create specific needs we have to meet. Public art has its reason in the creation of the city. You remember in the caves, the prehistoric men and women, the Homo sapiens, the first they do in their environment was create landscapes, was create milestones, sensitize their spaces. In the same way, we need to continue that work. And we are doing, but we are doing well, or almost well, or bad. The important is to do that. This is a project by me as well. Well, public art also has its function. Absolutely, this is my opinion. Could be discussable, but in my opinion, the art has a strong potential correcting problems, correcting issues in the city. For example, this is in Barcelona. in area not very worthy. As you can see in the background, there are ancient house, not very good architecture. And then by creating iconic piece and a good park, we generate a referential point different, which allows us improve the space, you know, the public space. This is the same piece. So the public art and the public artist should be able to turn every difficulties we can find in the city into solutions. We need to take from the problem the solution. Always is the solution in the problem. And we can to create the easy way to make our proposals. So every adverse juncture and full of conditioning is a wonderful opportunity to create art. For example, how many public art to waste spaces, you know, such as this kind of monumental sculptures that you make the opening, everybody clap, and the next day everybody forget. Such a kind of artworks for nothing, you know, just commemorative sense. We can take advantage of this opportunity to create heritage for the country, to create a worthy pieces, and to meet also the commemorative need, but also the need that have the city of a worthy places, of a contemporary sense, you know, and raise the prestige of the city, you know, and increase the self-esteem of the neighborhood. So, in my opinion, I'm sure about that. For me, it's a rule. The public artist should be different, should have a different conception of the art, because the canvas, our canvas, is totally different of a regular canvas. Our canvas is the public space, is the city. And when you are walking in the city, you are not, you have not chose to find or to have a public art. You don't choose. So we need to have the sensibility to do the proper impact in our lives. You know, when you are visit a gallery, a private gallery of art, you can expect whatever. But in the city, no. We have not right as an artist to use the city to put in value our skills or our vision, to be megalomaniac, you know, or to do pieces for nothing, for no reason. So there are many kinds of sense, of many options to art in the public realm, many. All of them are worthy, but what we need is to have a kind of a script, you know. How many art, the high quality art, is put in the city, but it has not a script, it has not a master plan to do that. And we are wasting a lot of potential
of that pieces, you know. We need to create a master plan in every city. Most of the most important cities worldwide, they already have. They have a public art office where they regulate how to act in every space. That is very important. Look, so the lack of identity, as we can comment a few times ago, generates a low self-esteem as a collective. We need recognized as a group, we need recognized as a city, and we need recognized as a country. And nowadays, in this century, we need recognized as a planet, you know, because we are having the same problems, you know. We are witness or the massive leave of the countries, of the fields, of the rural lands. These people come to the cities looking for new opportunities. And in the meanwhile, we are losing our roots. We are losing our identity. We need a balance. We need to find how to digest these behaviors. And these behaviors are happening worldwide. In my community in Bilbao, there are a lot of Chinese people, but not only there, worldwide. And I am here, for example, and every people is everywhere, you know. Nowadays, travel is an easy thing, you know, and look for our lives. Maybe we are creating a new culture, yes, but we need to keep our roots. Identity. Public art is identity. Okay, so we have commented this already. Most of that pieces, as you can realize, because of the style, are by me, but also for me it has been the year, you know. So, brings public art wellness? Well, the public art is the needle who mark if your tank of gas is empty or full. The public art is the indicator or quality of life of the level of prestige of a city. For example, in Taipei, you have amazing public art, very good public art. If we take in consideration this sentence, if the public art actually is a good indication of the wellness of a country, that means the public art brings wellness. Because if you are fighting for your life, for your business, for your company, would you prefer to be in a good team or in a regular or middle-sized team or a poor team? You would like to belong to a good, a strong team, you know? Public art gives you that image. Public art is like a brand of a city, you know? You can imagine a sport event, international sport event, Champion Cup of the world of football or any. In a city without art, nobody chose this city to celebrate that competition of that event, cultural event, whatever, you know. So absolutely, public art brings wealth. And the public art is the brand. This is the Wings Comb. I don't know if I translate, it's like Comb of Winds. It's by Eduardo Chillida, a very famous sculptor, and it is the brand of San Sebastian. Also is one of the most important icons of Basque Country, you know? But we are making some errors, some mistakes. For example, with a very good will, some people, some politicians, some people who responsibility to develop public art and to handle or to manage the art in the city. They use any gap, any space, any free space to put art. Using the art as a massive is so bad, like a lack of art. So the art has its own dose. A lot of art, a lot of public art is not good. Few public art with good sense could be better. The completely lack of public art means dead, you know? So if the public art, if the city, you take like a museum it goes in detriment of the city, you know? So choose museums or cities. Okay. Looking for beauty. We need beauty. We have a need of beauty. And we have also, in our days, the non place, you know, non place, these kind of spaces where there are no historic relation, where there has not human relations in historic way, you know, such as highways, airports. Public arts try to humanize them and make a kind of balance, because public art gives them characteristic. These kind of places are very linear, not expression, you know. And if you travel a lot of, like me, you can realize sometimes you are in the airport and you know where you are, you know. So they put in me 3 minutes. I'm going to be quickly. So public art is not a solution for all, but it is a good media to resolve. So also public art connect us with other cities, you know. Briefly, I'm going to finish like this with my last experience in Dallas. One example about how the public art brings wellness. This is a very famous developer in Dallas who invited me to create two public arts projects. My surprise was they made me install the works just after excavation, prior to create the buildings. And what? Why? It was very easy for me to understand that. The team of architects or workings feel so proud with the public art that increase and improve their behavior and their performance in the project. And also, and very important, it was an additive value, it was surplus value. And then the clients buy all the buildings and rent all the buildings because they understood It's gonna be a very worthy place. Why? Because of the presence of art. So art brings our wellness, brings us riches. But don't confuse. The solution is not to put sculptures, whatever. No. You should do from the love to the art. So the art promotes the meeting of the people, promotes the commerce. You know, Chicago, very good example, relation. The faces appear in the fountain are community neighborhood. Surprises in the city, you know, to create iconic places, you know. Bilbao, briefly, just a minute. Okay. Bilbao is my city. Bilbao has a strong regeneration because of the Guggenheim Museum that had been able to lead a great movement or regeneration of the city, you know. This is a piece of me in Guggenheim. The public art is one of the ingredients in the recipe of regeneration. This year has been the best city in Europe. Chillida, a lot of people, very famous artists are present there. And this is a portrait of the mayor who did able all that. He has the vision. And this is by me as well. And it is another kind to do a portrait, you know, not like a regular portrait. You know, it's a more contemporary way, you know, very quickly. We have seen before, Meeting Point, good examples of public art. This is another example of very good in New York, and very good artists like Richard Serra, but with very bad behavior in the public space. The square is just separate, and you as a citizen, you have to make a big around. That is not good. We need a comfortable public art. Okay, Dalí as well in Bilbao, Oldenburg. This is our targets, but I think we have comment every them. The Bell Tower in Dallas. And I'm going to finish here, you know, just saying you that public art means success, and we have to be, let's be creative, let's be artists, okay? That's all.